Pictomancer is one of the most highly anticipated new jobs coming to Final Fantasy XIV, which will arrive shortly in the upcoming expansion, Dawntrail. It's a magical DPS that uses comic book-like spells and abilities that will bring Moogles to life and allow you to smash your enemies with hammers. Hey everyone, I'm Frosty from Mog Talk. I had a ton of fun playing it at the media tour, but will admittedly say it took me a second to get my head around it. In this video, I will go over the spells and abilities for the job, how it functions in its rotation, and what it will offer for raid groups. If you're looking for a list of actions, you can find that in the description below. In summary, Pictomancer has a 2-system rotation that increases the party's damage every 2 minutes, it's able to offer support via some healing and mitigation, and is semi-mobile as it has a variety of instant cast and a dash that gives you a small sprint every 20 seconds. But first, let's tackle the rotation. You have 2 gauges, one is a pallet gauge and the other is your canvases. While it may seem counterintuitive, the pallet gauge and the canvases mostly operate independently of each other. Your pallet gauge is solely focused on your 1, 2, 3 spell combos, and you have 2 buttons that represent your 2 different combos. For simplicity, I will refer to them as the white combo and the black combo. Your white combo is your core, you have fire and red, which turns into arrow and green, then water and blue. Your water spell at the end is what fills your palette, giving you 1 stack of white paint and 25 palette gauge. That 1 stack of white paint allows you to use Holy and White. That is an instant cast and hits just as hard as your water and blue, your 3 in your 1, 2, 3 combo. But it also has AoE damage attached to it as well. Once you hit 50 palette gauge, you're able to use Subtractive Palette, which unlocks your higher potency 1, 2, 3 black combo by giving you 3 stacks of Subtractive Palette, and it also gives you a buff called Monochrome Tones. That combo is Blizzard in Zion, Stone in yellow, and Thunder in magenta, which all do 300 more potency than your white combo equivalents. While Thunder doesn't give you palette gauge, it does give you 1 stack of white paint, just like the water spell in your white combo. Monochrome Tones allows you to convert 1 white paint to a black paint, allowing for the cast of Common and Black, which is the same as Holy White, but does 300 more potency as well. And as a side note, both combos have AoE counterparts that work identically, just they have AoE. They all have 2s at the end of them as well, but for the most part they're exactly the same. Besides those combos, you also have Rainbow Drip as an action, which is a very high potency spell that also has AoE damage. And it grants a white paint as well. However, its recast time is nearly a whopping 6 seconds, so you'll only want to cast this under certain conditions. So in review, your 1, 2, 3 combos consist of 4 buttons really, 2 are auto 1, 2, 3 combos, and 2 are instant cast stack burners. For every 2 white combos, you get 1 black combo. But you also have this heavy button which you can only use under a buff we will go over later. And that's it. It doesn't get too much more complicated for your spellcasting. But now let's forget about all of that for a moment and focus on your other system, the canvases. You get 3 canvases to work on, which honestly operate independently of each other as well. One canvas gives you OGCDs, another canvas gives you a powerful GCD combo, and the last one gives you a 2-minute burst. And to use these spells and abilities, they are all locked behind a heavy prep spell cast where you have to paint a motif for each use, and it doesn't do any damage. Once you paint one of your canvases, you have to use its associated action before painting in that canvas again. Let's go over the first canvas, which is your creature canvas. This one works on a 40-second cooldown timer and has 3 charges. It's also the only one that has any extra building mechanics to it. Each time you use an ability from it, it adds an image to the bar that's above it. Your first OGCDs you get from it are Palm Muse and Wing Muse. Both do a whopping 1000 potency each, and unlocking another OGCD called Bog of Ages, which does 1100 potency. After that you get Clawed Muse and Fang Muse, both again at 1000 potency, and that leads to unlocking Retribution of Modine, which does an enormous 1300 potency. Afterwards, it clears the board of all the images and you start back over at Palm Muse. So basically every 40 seconds you can use a powerful OGCD, and every 80 seconds you can use 2 powerful OGCDs. Oh, and also, it's all AoE with just the 50% reduced for other enemies. It's important to note that the one exception to your canvases being locked behind a painting until actions are used is with Mog of Ages and Retribution of Modine. This will allow a little bit more play with including them in your burst. For the weapon lane canvas, it is a little bit more straightforward. It has a 60-second cooldown with 2 total charges, so you'll need to prep this every 60 seconds as well. However, one paint unlocks 3 powerful instant cast spells called Hammer Stamp, Hammer Brush, and Polishing Hammer. As a bonus, they all crit and direct hit automatically, and are AoE as well. This lines up great for your burst and gives basically some free movement to it. For your last lane, you have a 2-minute cooldown, but there's no stacks with it, and this is called Starry Muse. Reading it first time could be a little bit intimidating. It gives 5% damage up to all party members, Subtractive Spectrum, which is a 0 gauge use for your Subtractive Palette that we talked about earlier, grants Inspiration and gives you 5 stacks of Hyperphantasia, which basically just makes every spell you cast that says affected by Hyperphantasia 25% faster while in the bounds of your circle that it puts on the ground. Once you use 5 spells that burns all of those Hyperphantasia stacks, you get Rainbow Bright. That allows for an instant cast of your Rainbow Drip, the one that we were talking about earlier that had the very long recast. And finally, you get a buff called Starstruck that lets you use Star Prism. Since Subtractive Spectrum gives you 1 stack of Black Combo that consists of 4 actions that use Hyperphantasia, as well as Star Prism actually using it too, within your burst window, it's very easy to unlock the instant cast for Rainbow Drip. Again, this may sound complicated, but it's not too bad, as the benefits are already pretty much set in place with what you should use after using Starry Muse. So let's go ahead and just talk about how the job plays out, and we'll go a little bit more into the efficiencies of using Starry Muse in a moment. Forewarning, a lot of what I'm going to discuss is early thoughts from my experience at the media tour, and the footage isn't going to completely align since I didn't figure it out until after. So just bear with me as I rattle off my thoughts on the subject. Your 1-2-3 combo, of course, is just filler between your canvas uses. And your white paint stacks, they don't really matter. From what I can tell, you can pretty much use them freely. You may think you need a white paint to be converted to a subtractive palette for your black combo, but you don't. The conversion is a buff that you gain that can be used at any time, and your subtractive R black 1-2-3 combo gives you a white paint at the end of the use. So you can go ahead and use common and black just from doing your 1-2-3 black combo. It may be useful when doing your burst window timings to have an extra white paint prepped to make sure you get 1 black paint in, but you have to use all of your stacks of Hyperphantasia to get your free Rainbow Drip anyways, which includes using your 1-2-3 black combo and getting that 1 comment. You only get 1 conversion as well per use of Subtractive Palette. You wouldn't want to lose your upgraded 1-2-3 just to get 2 black conversions, which I don't think you can do anyways, but I'll let the math wizards figure it out for sure later on. But honestly, it looks like you'll never need to save gauge for anything. Just burn it. Maybe save white paints without capping when you want to be really mobile for instance cast, but I wouldn't go over a couple just because you will get them automatically from other abilities. During boss fights, you'll always be looking to find the dead spots to prep your paintings with the long cast. Half of them you'll be able to throw under swift cast, but the other half you will definitely have to hard cast. Since not to lose any canvas usage, you're looking at basically 12 painted motifs every 4 minutes, which that turns into 3 every minute, basically every 20 seconds on average. Of course, you'll likely have some that you could do back to back, but conceptually that's what you're looking at. Swiftcast is only available every 40 seconds, so again, about half will be hard casted. Swiftcasting the painting of motifs, of course, will basically give you the freedom to do a whole bunch of OGCDs due to the long recast, and that will probably be your most optimal use. Likely you won't paint during a burst window, but again, maybe you DPS math wizards out there will find a way where it makes sense. Since every second painting for creatures gives you 2 OGCDs damage, likely it's going to be a game of trying to find when you could use 2 OGCDs from the creature canvas during the 2-minute window. However, it'll get awkward with the 80 seconds it takes for it to happen and your 2-minute burst. With 3 stacks though, the ability to hold Retribution of Modine and Mog of the Ages, it will let you have some room to play around. Your weapon canvas you want to have prepped for your 2-minute burst, at least 1 stack of it, due to the crit direct hits that you'll get. Technically, again, if you crit direct hit your subtractive 1-2-3 combo, it makes a case for saving the gauge, but the safe play will always be putting it into your hammer combo, since it's always going to be guaranteed a crit direct hit. As a bonus, I mean, again, it gives you free movement, and we know Square likes to throw in mechanics during your 2-minute windows. Maybe there's a case to get 2 hammer combos in 1 burst, but again, that long recast of the paint takes up about 20% of your burst window and may not be worth it. For landscape canvas, to simplify it, you'll always fit Star, Prism, Rainbow Drip, 1 subtractive rotation, and a comment inside of it. This will give you a full use of its rotation and buffs. It again requires 0 gauge to execute, because you'll get actually 2 white paints just in that 1 combo. And it will give you time to squeeze in 1 hammer rotation as well. So in summary, your damage rotation will mostly play out like this. Prep canvases before a pull. When you start your opening burst, use Star Abuse, fit in 1 creature OGCD, 1 hammer rotation, and blow through your subtractive 1-2-3. Comment, Rainbow Drip, and Star Prism. Ideally, Prism can line up when you need heals too, but you definitely want it all for your party buffs. After a burst, your canvases get prepped again during downtime, get another hammer combo out of the way, blow through 2 more creature OGCDs, paint again during the downtime, then get to your normal 1-2-3 combo until it's time to burst again without overcapping your creature and hammer canvases. And just make sure you're prepped for 2 OGCDs and 1 hammer for your 2 minutes. Again, about 15 to 20% of the fight, you're going to be painting and prepping. Since on average, you're looking at 3 paintings a minute, and they take nearly 4 seconds each to do. It's going to be important to find free windows to use them and not overcap. Okay, so let's start talking about utility and what Pictomancer brings to the raid. There's 3 things you really get. One, of course, being your dash, that gives you a 5-second sprint every 20 seconds, and I swear Pictos will have no reason for not making it to where they need to go during mechanics because of this. The next is Tempera Coat and Grassa, which is interesting because it allows you to choose between a 60-second personal that absorbs 20% of your max HP or a 90-second raid-wide shield for 10%. Of course, it's only 60-second and 90-second if it's fully absorbed. Messing it up will make it a 2-minute cooldown. So you'll need to make sure to execute it properly to get more uses out of the fight, which means most Pictos probably won't use it at all. Don't be that Picto. Your 2-minute window gives you a 5% buff to all raid members again, but it also gives you that 400 AoE heal with Star Prism. You'll have some freedom in when you cast it inside your burst, so if group damage goes out at 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whenever, you can use it after the damage goes out to get max benefit. Just make sure you use it before your damage buffs wear off, because it is one of your highest hitting moves. And that's pretty much it. Pictomancer is interesting in the way it operates, but it will feel pretty straightforward, I think, after getting used to it. I believe there are some pretty interesting ways to maybe optimize it that can be mapped out that I haven't figured out yet, and I'm very interested to see what the community comes up with. One thing is for certain, is going to be debated for at least a little bit until it settles. That being said, are you guys going to play it? Please let me know your thoughts on the job in the comments below, and ask any questions you may have with my experience playing Pictomancer. If you liked the video, like and subscribe to the channel, and feel free to come talk to me on Twitch where I raid almost every day. Have a good day, and remember to be safe, keep cool, and stay frosty.